Here's a question that might buzz all year round in 2024, a question which concerns the Russia-Ukraine war. Has this war become a forever war, a war with no end in sight? I ask this question because it's been 674 days since the war started. 674 days of fighting, death and destruction. Yet neither side is willing to relent. Neither side is willing to talk peace. So will 2024 be more of the same? It surely looks like it. To start with, it's been 1 year and 10 months and no side has made any significant gain. Ukraine's ground offensive remains stagnant. Russian forces also haven't made any major advances. Are they caught in a quagmire of sorts? Well, NATO officials say that was always the plan. They had hoped from the start of the war to trap Russia in an Afghanistan-like blunder, where its forces are unable to move beyond a certain point and eventually start retreating. But this is not Afghanistan. This is a former Soviet republic, a place Russia once controlled, a place it operated out of, which is why a Russian retreat is out of the equation. On the flip side, trying to get Russia caught in a quagmire and prolonging the war is only hurting Ukraine further. It has already suffered breathtakingly vast human and economic costs. And it continues to fall further and further into the debt every month. What's worse, a prolonged war is not going to be good for the rest of Europe either. It will only feed into the cost of living shocks. And as the war drags further this year, it will also become a sore political issue in the 2024 US election. You see, Joe Biden came to office with the promise of ending forever wars and launching an era of relentless diplomacy. This clearly hasn't happened. Forget ending the war in Ukraine, the US has ended up making this war a political liability. Lawmakers in the US Congress are pushing for an end to military aid for Ukraine. And back on the battleground, Russia is threatening to increase strikes on Ukraine. Just 24 hours back, it fired a fresh barrage of strikes on New Year's Eve. Reports say more than 100 Shahed munitions were fired against cities all over the country. Immediately after these strikes, the Russian president issued a statement vowing to increase strikes on targets which he said Russia had not been hitting. With these warnings, Putin has made his intention clear that Russia will not retreat from the battleground, even if it's years or decades for that matter. In other words, the Kremlin seeks nothing less than Kyiv's total capitulation. And this has cast a spotlight on the future of Russia itself, with questions swirling about its intentions. Will it ever settle in its borders? Will it expand the war beyond Ukraine? Will it try to restore its Cold War-era empire? Well, there are indeed fears that Russia's ambitions may not stop at Ukraine. Experts say unless Russian forces are defeated in Ukraine or they withdraw, Moscow might assault other post-Soviet neighbors. And if and when it does this, the West may face limits on the extent to which it could help them thwart such attacks. As it is, support for Ukraine is waning in America and its Western allies. In the face of heightened Russian aggression and Russian troops reaching newer borders, there's no saying to what extent America and the NATO will be willing to go.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.